I get it.
Oh, there's a lot of EnVyUs fans here tonight, but they have definitely been a bit quieter, as it seems to be much more meta Athena favored. Nuss showing us the Sombra already here at Kilios. So,
hey, makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and run this. We can change things up when it comes to defense here on Hanamura. Like you mentioned, the Torbjorn is something that we've seen quite a lot in the past. Seems like Taimu's having a bit of an issue.
He has a keyboard issue. We had confirmation, so we'll have that fixed for him right away. Sure, there'll be replacement keyboards available if it's an emergency situation, but more likely just a driver fix or just as simple as maybe plugging it in again. It looks like that's what he did.
I mean, that's the first thing you always go for. Unplug it, plug it back in.
Jiggle the switch, man. There you go. You got a hacker in the game. Sombra here is doing the dance. Maybe she hacked it.
That would actually be a really annoying mechanic if she like hacked you and it like reversed your key movements or something.
Oh man, don't give Blizzard any
All
ideas.
of a sudden you have like inverted
controls, yeah.
Yeah, like
when you press spacebar, you crouch.
that would just be terrible, actually. I'm sad for even saying that. I don't think that it'll ever be implemented, but God help us all if it ever was.
Okay, looks like we're going to see the aggressive reverse dive set up here for meta Athena.
I mean, there's no Hanzo here, so they're actually they have no way of spotting this out, so they're going to find out the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. See how quickly they respond. It's going to be Taimu once again on that hog for the triple tank push through here. Looking for sustainability in the push. Already spotted here. There's the hook.
Yeah, the hook's out. Discord Orb's on him, and Alpha will be taken down right off the bat. Can they snowball off? This is going to be the question. Chris getting jumped on will be taken out. Hoon's popped out of the mech. That should just be the first cap. Over here to EnVyUs. The hook yet again from Taimu. Taking out Libero, and this might just be one of the fastest caps on Hanamura Point A that we've ever seen.
I mean, this could even be an attempted double cap here. They already have the ult advantage with this.
There's not going to be enough snowball for that to happen, but the ult advantage, like you say, will be there, so they won't have to stagger to really seal the deal on it, but they could just go for the initial push here.
I just feel like when you have a setup like this, you're asking for trouble, right? You're trying to rob EnVyUs of their first push, and if it goes well, sure, you buy maybe 20 to 40 extra seconds of time. If it fails, you lose everyone and you lose the point.
Yeah.
High risk, low reward, and they get punished here. EnVyUs scouts it out. Good Discord targeting there coming out from Chips, and I mean, this is a massive timing. As you said, one of the fastest we've seen this season. So they do get shut down with their next push. Alpha is going to be the delayed respawn here, but EnVyUs has so much to work with now. So many different eco pushes they could use to build ultimates. And, I mean, it just feels like an unnecessary risk that Meta Athena took. A smart one, an intelligent one, but when it fails that hard, you're really just going to eat it, man.
Yeah, the big thing here for Meta on the defense is going to be trying to bait out Chips with that Transcendence that he now has available, because Nuss, if he just goes in, Chips, popping the Transcendence, thinking that maybe we're going to be seeing that EMP. Actually, he'll just go ahead and pop it, but he gets picked off. And there's not going to be that much follow-up. Whole hog burned out here by Taimu, just shoving everyone away. But the Pulse Bomb actually comes out by Saya player right at the end. And he finds the double kill, getting rid of the supports. So still, despite the odds, despite Chips not going down during that EMP initially, they still fall all on the back of Saya player.
So talking about compositions, we didn't really talk about it too much, exactly what EnVyUs is running. Alpha looks like he's going to get picked off here. Nicely done by Harry himself.
Effect is actually on the soldier.
Yeah, it's Effect who's swift on his soldier, which is normally not the case. It's normally Harry himself. So Effect, for the first time this tournament, is playing a different hero than the Tracer.
Yeah, already though, he's getting picked off. Sion player goes down, as
Harry.
does Nuss. Transcendence burned out there by Chips, keeping himself alive, but now the Dragon Blade comes out, or could come out from the side of Libero.
They have self-destruct.
Yet.
They have self-destruct here, so absolutely a huge tool. This could be the second cap, as the respawns are coming out really slow for Meta Athena.
Nuss going low. Dragon Blade is out here by Libero, finds both the supports yet again, but he will be taken out right off the backside of that. Hoon getting hooked in the Baby Diva will get taken out. In effect, posturing up on the high ground is just trying to fire away. The first tick still hasn't come through though for EnVyUs, and they're getting pushed back off this spot at the moment. Self-destruct, not going to find any kills as Picky tries to get back into the mech. Will be able to do so, but Alpha is just playing Gatekeeper yet again with the Primal Rage, keeping them off of this. So first tick, maybe finally completed by Envy. but they don't get anything else for it.
Yep, Chips actually temporarily switches over the Sombra. We'll switch back to the Zenyatta now, which I like with a triple tank. You're going to have a lot more damage that way, despite really running only one traditional DPS with the Soldier.
Yeah.
The protection coming out from Coco is actually really impressive. Oh, Cook 2.0.
Yeah, feels bad.
But the protection coming out from Coco was really nice when the dive did come in to jump onto effect. He was really well protected. And gotta give credit. Oh, another hook here, nearly pulling in.
Keeps just cutting back around that corner, disconnecting it.
But
So
still, the
doesn't find
accuracy
it.
is real.
Oh,
you have
for
to give,
sure.
You have to give credit.
I mean, when you talk about Taimu, like
Speaking of
accuracy
which.
is synonymous with this guy. So yeah, finding Saya player there, but the EMP coming down here from Nuss. They already take out Chips, not having that shielding. Just makes him so very vulnerable, and that's just an easy triple kill scooped up there by Libero.
Nicely done. He didn't have to use the Dragon Blade. He didn't have it yet, but now he's going to have it again, probably with another EMP with how quickly that builds.
And look how far away Chips is from a Transcendence. He's at 40%, so the Dragon Blade can just absolutely destroy EnVyUs. So despite this massive time, making sure they can go for a near infinite amount of eco pushes, they try to build up. But because Chips doesn't have the Transcendence, that's like the most crucial thing that is hurting them from getting onto the second point
Absolutely, and it looks like they're looking for the big six in terms of ultimates here. There's poking in a lot. Effect had several opportunities to try to go for that tac visor, but it wasn't perfect. It wasn't exactly what they were looking for, so they didn't do it. Side player knocks Taimu out. That's a problem.
And he goes down. They do answer one here onto Chris, but Libero cuts down Coco. So just like that, EnVyUs going to be stopped out yet again. Chips does build up another 20-some-odd% for that Transcendence, and Harry nearly has the sound barrier, so both those defensive ultimates are going to be very crucial for the squad.
Taimu makes the switch onto the McCree, but it feels like when you're switching this late and you're looking for that one miraculous 6 ultimate push, it needs to work, right? Or you're going to have regrets. They might have even been able to have to build 6 ults twice with how conservative they've been with the ultimates so far. See if they wait for more here with Taimu now on this McCree, which he's done so well on this evening. Libero's spotted out. She goes down to half health.
It goes low, drops down to the low ground, but he can very swiftly get back up here.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be the push.
Yeah, sound barriers out here from Meta Athena as Chris nearly goes down. Libero fighting his way in behind the squad, still has that Dragon Blade ready to be drawn out. Chips has already used the Transcendence, so he can just bide his time and then use this right at the end. Jumping in, just trying to get rid of that Zenyatta without having to use the Dragon Blade, and the EMP is going to help him do just that. Chips goes down, a Saya player finds the kill. EnVyUs has traded back quite a bit here onto the side of Meta Athena, keeping them dead as much as possible.
Nuss actually surviving for a while
still
here.
Still losing out.
Mickey 2 health surviving. But yeah, the picks are coming in now for Meta Athena. Libero again holds on to the Dragon Blade, super important. And EnVyUs going to put their eggs in one basket with this push. It's going to be difficult to see a push that strong again. And when you have EMP on the opponent's side, when you're going for these big 6 pushes, I do feel like it's kind of a risky choice when it could be straight countered halfway through the fight when the EMP comes down. That wasn't really the case there in the initial fight. It didn't work out for Envy. They have that self-destruct, they have the sound barrier, but nothing really to pair with those ultimates.
Side player into the back, throws down that pulse bomb, not going to find anything. Chips barely stays alive. Sound barrier there to help chew through that damage. So they stay up. Envy is still looking for the push.
There's the EMP coming out. It's a big one up here on the high ground.
Drops down at Chips yet again. Go to the first one to fall. Exchanges coming through as Harry gets taken down. So no supports here for EnVyUs, and they're still losing out so many members. It's just Mickey and Coco left alive. No DPS there to help contest the point. And 62.7% is all that EnVyUs has been able to accrue so far. 50 seconds remaining of about one more solid push with 6 members, and only the self-destruct to really back them up on.
There's a Taimu switch again. Remember, this is several switches coming out. The effect switch back onto the Tracer. So many swaps coming out for EnVyUs really hurts you in terms of ults. They had the one big 6 ultimate push. Didn't work out for them. Don't have as many tools this time, but they're about to have several. If Taimu can get a good tac visor off here in a prolonged fight, perhaps that could be what does it for them. They have the self-destruct, the primal rage. They have several tools. No EMP this time for Meta Athena. One of the things they've used several times to stop these pushes from EnVyUs.
I mean, he needs to build it up very quickly here for this tac visor. Back down with the pulse bomb ready to go. Hasn't tossed it out yet.
Primal Rage coming out.
And he's got the Dragon Blade, looking for an opening, and Side player is actually going to go down. Taimu finds the kill here. Swapped over onto that Soldier. Very nice pulse bomb. Just containing Libero into the cubby hole. Will not take him out. And Harry Hook goes down. The self-destruct from Hoon finds that kill. Mickey throws out his. Doesn't find anything. Now both supports dead. Dragon Blade out from Libero. Cutting his way to success yet again. As Effect and Taimu both go down. Coco finished off, and it's all on Mickey. The try to sit in here. He'll get popped out of the mech. They do push it a bit further. 69.1% here for EnVyUs.
But it just
Meta
wasn't enough.
Athena, though, they get the hold.
They just couldn't get the momentum there with those fights. The big commitments to the heavy 6-man push. They could have perhaps had twice as many ultimates as they used there because they wanted the one big push. We're going to use everything. We're going to collapse on this. We're going to crush it. We're going to get the full capture. When it didn't work, and we saw several swaps, the swap for Effect back onto the Tracer, the swap from Roadhog for Taimu into the McCree, then going into the Soldier. All these swaps bought very critical time for, unfortunately, Meta Athena to build more EMPs, which Nuss, I have to say, hasn't built EMPs as consistently as I would have expected him to, but he had the extra time because of all these swaps coming out from Meta Athena, and this bought time and time again. There's so many different delay tactics there for Meta Athena, so when EnVyUs had the big strong push where they got 2 kills instantly, they just couldn't carry that momentum without more ultimates.
Rough stuff here. And Chips just constantly being preyed on. Just made for one push squashed after another. But 69.1% accrued here for EnVyUs. So, not terrible, not great. Meta Athena on the attack. Seemed like they're just going to be running pretty much exactly what they've been running this entire time outside of that initial start on Nimbani.
See what EnVyUs is going to do if they actually commit to both the Sombra and the Torbjorn. This is part of why I was saying I think Meta Athena would be wise to pick this map because they would expect something like this. Not necessarily the Sombra and the Torbjorn together, but one of the two. They've shown the ability to deal with the Torbjorn already. And yeah, you say 69.1 is not too bad. That's very true, but with the massive time bank they had, it's a bit worrisome, right? Meta Athena has a great opportunity here to best that. If they can have a similar first push here, that's going to be the critical thing in terms of time bank. So let's see if they can make this standard dive that they haven't used really most of the season. They're trying to perfect it to crush this Torbjorn defense.
Well, yet again, a lot of pressure here on Chips as Harry Hook is on the Soldier, so needs to be staying alive as that solo healer. Mickey yet again trying things with the Torbjorn. I can appreciate it a bit more on Hanamura compared to Nepal.
Definitely so. So he's not getting the early turret place and wants to have the safer one here within the point. It's being protected right now. Saya player looking for an angle here. Also scouting a little bit for Alpha so they can actually commit to the dive.
Well, it's going to be going straight in onto the backside. Maybe just trying to open up, get rid of that turret, which is just steady building up ultimate percentage here for Mickey.
Okay, it's down already here. Libero's taking it out at range. Saya player takes this opportunity to go in the backlines. Alpha dives in.
Alpha goes in, but Chris is falling right off the bat. Turret gets taken out, but Effect finishes off the monkey. Still good defense here from EnVyUs, but now that Chips is dead, that could change things. But you see the very swift kills coming through here from Effect and Mickey.
Those a window,
turn that on its head.
Those window of time for Meta Athena to make that work, and they committed really heavily to the dive there. Alpha even got the second turret down immediately, but during that commitment to killing the turrets that were really well protected, EnVyUs just had the better fight. Taimu's accuracy, it strikes yet again. It's so annoying to deal with Taimu on the Sombra and Effect's Tracer both at once. So mobile, such good accuracy.
Well, speaking of such good accuracy, not that great there from Effect. Doesn't find the stick in. On to Alpha, who he could have taken out. But in the meantime, Harry Hook does get rid of Nuss, and there's really just very limited ways for Meta Athena to push forward without having that Zenyatta there. And you can see just how far behind he is with this Transcendence, just at 40% now. So, going to be a while before we see that come through, and it might honestly just be the desperation that they need.
What?
And Taimu,
he just commits to
the solo EMP. He just wants to shut down the Zenyatta because it's so much zone control for Meta Athena to push in onto the point, having that Transcendence to keep everybody topped off. So he says, screw it.
What a sick move.
He says, I can build up my EMP way faster than you build up your ultimate. It actually forces out the swap. Nuss goes over to the Ana.
Now, this is really well done. You don't see moves like that with the EMP, such a team fight oriented ultimate where you get massive value on 6 members, at the most. So using a one member feels counterintuitive, but in this case, staggers the spawns, forces the swap. Really good decision making here yet again from Taimu specifically here on EnVyUs. It does get taken out here, but as you said, can build that ultimate so much faster.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that if you saw that in your solo queue would probably piss you off, but if you think about it, it's actually really ingenious. Yeah. So that was really well identified there.
Oh, look at this.
By Taimu, and now Effect coming into the backside. Will be spotted out by Hoon, but still makes it in the back, drops down the pulse bomb, but won't find any kills coming through yet. Mickey, building up, trying to get towards that next molten core, but he's still a ways away.
Trying to get on the high ground there, Chips, or sorry, Harry, unfortunately unable to. Here comes Libero's Dragon, but they've been terrifying so far. Gets the single, but is knocked away.
Harry with the tag visor gets smacked off the map. Alpha yet again coming up. Trumps finds the kills, and it seems like EnVyUs are just going to be abandoning this point. They say, you know what, we've held it for long enough. It's a minute on the clock. 5-minute hold, 69% is what we got. I think that we can pull this one off. We will be seeing some swaps coming through here as Harry Hook actually moves over to the Zenyatta.
You always want to toss it away when you have such a massive lead in terms of direct comparison in time pool, because the only way you lose this is if they get a full cap, and if they get the double because you trickle in to really try to full hold, then that's not going to be the way. So with just 69% to get, a little bit risky for MSD, that's why I respect their ability to just back off here.
I mean, it's just past that second tick here for Meta Athena. Will be slowed up, not going to be having any snowball push, as Effect just being very frustrated by the defense matrix, won't be able to find that opening.
Yeah, the protection against his pulse bomb attempts have been really good so far, and he's had a few accuracy mistakes with it, let's say.
Yeah, saw that already demonstrated. Self-destruct comes through up onto the high ground here.
There's the pulse bomb
not going to find anything yet. Does get rid of Libero, and that's just going to open up the floodgates here for EnVyUs as the kills start spilling in. Chris trying to kite back, keep his teammates alive, but there's a very angry Ape on top of him. And you have to expect that he'll be going down. Actually, we'll leave him. You can see Coco just fearing that with the Discord Orb might not win that 1v1.
Actually, really
especially
good
with the
accuracy.
respawns coming through.
He was in such a good position there, too, in the
Fire.
stairwell.
You can just throw your balls in his face.
Exactly, and that's what we saw. So Taimu looks angry and focused here, but Chris survives, does have nearly the Transcendence now, partially due to that building ultimate since he stayed alive and all the extra damage he did in that fight. So Meta Athena will have a big push here. They might commit to the big 6 here for this one. EnVyUs has a few defensive tools. Mostly, though, it's the self-destruct they have to slow down a push like this.
So Hoon's pushing in there, trying to disrupt that top side, but will just get taken out. Now the leap in from Alpha sends him dangerously low as well. To kite back into the hallways, Taimu's just still operating up onto this high ground across the point.
Well, Taimu has that tack visor with no diva here. It's risky to actually commit to this. They do use the Transcendence, however.
Yeah, it comes down from Chris, but they still were just playing on the high ground. They didn't try to get onto the point at all. Now tack visor out by Saya player will be zoned back. Taimu finds a kill with his own onto Alpha. Saya having this high ground, just have a nice position, but the rest of his squad isn't there. They won't be able to contest, and they don't even get the first tick.
I mean, Diva versus no Diva, pretty good, right? The one that has the Diva on their side. So Taimu did a lot more damage in that fight. Hoon getting picked off immediately by him actually on the high ground was actually the key factor there in the beginning of that fight. So a lot of tools used, unfortunately, for Meta Athena. I think the most unfortunate one really is the Transcendence that didn't do anything for them there. It's going to take a long time to rebuild. In fact, Chris is going to switch onto the Lucio for faster respawns for the eco pushes here. Pretty smart decision, but not one they necessarily had to make had that not been used.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was just rough stuff. Not trying to play around the point once you pop that Transcendence is so very bizarre unless you're immediately threatened by something like a Dragon Blade or a Pulse Bomb. But Alpha jumping into the backside does get slapped out. The Nano Boost comes through just to try to keep him alive. The Discord Orb is still on him. He jumps into the back, and Taimu finishes him off with the Helix Rockets. Now the kills yet again, just pouring forth as Libero and Nuss go down. With just 1 minute and 44 remaining, Coco keeping the rest of the squad out with that Primal Rage. EnVyUs look to complete this hold on point B and go to match point.
It just such unfortunate ult usage by Meta Athena. EnVyUs was able to really focus fire Alpha down immediately in that fight. The Discord Orb came out. The Sleep comes out as well from Chips. You have these two things that immediately kind of nerf that monkey as he dives in, and so he goes down, and 2 ultimates again missing for Meta Athena. They would have nearly had the 6 without it. Chris at 50%. But
Pulse Bomb comes through. It has the stick. Triple kill comes through for Effect. Side player Nuss and Libero all wiped off the map. Let's make it a quadra as Chris finds the kill. The Penta as Alpha falls. Can he complete it for the team kill? The jump off the map from Hoon. Let's take another look at this. Good God, Effect finds the angle.
And, I talked about all those ultimates being missing for Meta Athena. It really hurts. Nuss is just not going to have Nano for the next fight. No way. They're going to have almost everything else. Well, they're going to have to make it work with this one. EnVyUs has a lot of defensive tools here. Again, Mickey soon to have the self-destruct. That's going to be really key going into this one. That kind of make or breaks the overtime.
This is going to be it, the all-in here for Meta Athena. 30 seconds on the clock. Dragon Blade, as you say, available for Libero, but Harry Hook does have the Transcendence to try to keep he and his squad alive.
Okay, self-destruct
coming through, but it's in the stairwell. Not going to find anything here to kill any members of EnVyUs. Sound barrier comes down. They're going to be pouring down the staircase, wrapping around the backside of the point, trying to find the hit. Effect yet again! Double kill! Saya player and Nuss taken right out of the fight. Self-destruct finds Hoon in the baby diva, and EnVyUs, good lord, just tear through Meta Athena like a hot knife through butter.
That's
gonna
be
be the hold. That's gonna be match point as they take Hanamura in convincing fashion.
Two amazing plays there from Effect, and the problem with Meta Athena is they went all in on this push, and you can tell by where Libero was positioned. They looked for the early pickoffs with just the straight up left clicks coming out from Genji, looking for the damage onto the supports in the backline. Looked like he wanted to dive in and disrupt, force the tanks out of position, knock Mickey out of the mech. The tac visor comes in, but none of that matters when Effect comes in and gets the double. Your entire push, your entire concept is ruined, and they forced themselves into that choke point. They got stuck in the stairwell, and there was no retreat, there was no way out of there. Even after the first two picks went down, perhaps they could have backed off, looked for one more push in a different scenario, but not when they were trapped like that. Really well done by EnVyUs. And Meta Athena, I think, kind of shot themselves in the foot there a little bit with some disjointed ultimate usage. Let's watch the play of the game.
I wonder, who's it gonna be? What a goddamn shock. Effect. I mean, you gotta give him credit for getting the stick this time. There were some really botched ones, but the communication between Envy allowing for this play to happen, drawing the attention of Meta Athena to the front, into the point, keeping them all facing this way, keeping them away from the Tracer, not paying attention to Effect, is what allowed for that play to happen. So it was a team effort for sure by Envy, but Effect, he gets the accolades at the end of the day. Another Pulse Bomb following up after that for the double kill on that final last-ditch push.
You know, it might even be time for a tactical pause after that one. We'll see if they want to use it or save it.
I mean, they're really pushing the limits if they don't do it. This is match point.
Absolutely. You have to expect, given the track record of Meta Athena, that 100% we go to Dorado here. When you think about Boon's Zarya, I know that it's not meta, and he's definitely been moving away from using it. They've struggled a little bit in these situations. I feel like it might be time, and it looks like we are going to see that tactical pause. Or no, it's going to be a player
This is going to be a swap. We're going to have Johnson come in.
That's really interesting. So that could indicate they want to play the Reinhardt on Dorado if they go with it, but kind of an unusual swap considering Alpha's been playing so well, actually, on the Winston. So this swap alone, this substitute, may indicate a swap back to that Zarya style. Perhaps the triple tank and a defensive setup on the choke points going into Dorado. We don't know the map yet. We are going to take a short commercial break as the players swap out their gear. See you guys in just a few moments. EnVyUs on the cusp of match point. We'll see if they can take it after this short commercial break.
세상은 무서운 곳이야. 심지어 여기 눈바니에서도 우릴 보호할 존재는 필요하지. 5월 15 방어 로봇을 소개할게. 옴닉 사태 때의 구형 이디나 모델을 완전 새롭게 개조한 거야. 얘들이 우릴 지켜줬어. 잠시 동안은. 돈피스트가 공격했을 때 난 공항에 있었어. 로봇들은 속수무책이었지. 모두가 널 포기했지만 난 너에게서 가능성을 봤어. 그래서 내가 나섰어. 프로그램을 업그레이드하고 마음을 주었지.
새로운 인격 모델 설치 완료. 시스템 재부팅 중. 5월 15 온라인.
아니 그런 거 말고 위대한 영웅에겐 진짜 이름이 필요해. 오리사는 어때? 난 널 강하고 용감하게 만들었어. 넌 아직 배울 게 많아. 가끔 사고치고 와서 날 화나게 할지도 모르지. 그래도 난 네가 우리에게 꼭 필요한 영웅이 될 거라 믿어.
내 이름은 오리사. 당신을 안전하게 지키겠습니다. 그것이 제가 작동하는 목적입니다.
얘들아, 결승전에 우리가 이렇게 올 수 있는 게 진짜 어떻게 보면 진짜 마지막일 수도 있어. 진짜 나중에도 오고 싶은 거 못 올 수가 있거든. 진짜 후회 없이 한다, 후회 없이. 진짜.
And we are going into this second match. You guys didn't hear what I said at first, but I said the substitution is complete, but we are back in it. Ladies and gentlemen, EnVyUs on the edge here of taking this win and moving on to that final matchup. Decide if they can move on to the semis. And Athena with a swap of Changshik in. Alpha out moves suggest a move away from the Winston, perhaps more towards a Reinhardt-based playstyle, which can work on Dorado. It can work on both Kings Row and with Athena, perhaps on Eichenwald. So if they're going to go down that Zarya path, these are the maps to do it on. This is the map type for it. So they're able to fight long enough in this series to get to this point. And we can't say with certainty until we get in-game that that's what they are going to do, but we'll see what the map choice is. It could definitely hint towards that way. But last time EnVyUs played against Athena, they crushed them on Dorado, despite it being a comfortable map pick for Athena. Effect got in the back line and was never able to get the Graviton surges he was looking for. Mickey, very aggressive, trying to deny his positioning. It's tough here, Achilleos. Let's see what map they're going to pick.
I think that going for Dorado might be a bit too risky. Maybe you throw a wrench out there, but okay, they're going to do Dorado. Like you said, they got crushed last time around. It was a full hold by Envy, and then they only just had to, plus 0.1 them on their own push.
I feel like...
So, this is some dark territory that we're getting into as far as Athena is concerned, but they still have confidence, so maybe they've been working up something new.
In terms of the last match we saw specifically, too, they just really struggled here. Even though it suits their playstyle, they picked it so many times in this situation. Perhaps on Route 66, they would have had a stronger defense, considering that EnVyUs doesn't really run the dive. Diving would be very difficult going into big Earls, for example, but they're going to stick with the comfort pick here on Dorado. EnVyUs, one map away from moving on to that final match of the group. Can Meta Athena bring us to that 5th and final game? Let's find out.
I get it.
All right, still very much a Meta Athena crowd, but EnVyUs on the cusp of taking this set. And like you said, advancing onto that final map of the group. It would be a rematch of them versus X6 Gaming. You'd be damn sure that they want to go for that rematch and they want to come out with a victory this time around.
Yeah, and it feels like EnVyUs' story has just been hitting these teams, going the distance, going to the 5th game. Rematches abound as well. Perhaps they win this one, they get the win this time against X6, but we're not there yet. They will be on defense first. And Meta Athena shows Changshik on the Winston, so a surprising pick, though. You know, a lot of people might criticize how overall, in terms of his history, we've seen such aggressive play coming out from Alpha's Winston, his Reinhardt as well. But I feel like in this series overall, the synergy has been better, the follow-ups for his dive have been better for Meta Athena, and didn't really have much bad to say about his play tonight. So a surprising swap if they're going to run this. Obviously, this is attack. We'll see if things are different on defense.
For now, though, looks like they will be sticking through with this one. So just opting into the same exact comp that we've been seeing all night long. But will the swap over onto Changshik make the difference? He leaps onto the high ground, just zapping away where he can, but goes dangerously low and has to kite back. So far, payload not really moving, and Changshik's actually going to be the first one that dies as Coco finishes him off with a leap onto that high ground.
Losing that Winston battle already for sure here, as the Diva coverage is good coming out from Mickey. And it looks like this is going to be into this push. Nearly the kill on the Libero. Effect tracks it in. Chases him all the way into the spawn.
I mean, this is looking eerily familiar to me.
Yeah.
This forward position that EnVyUs is able to take up onto the high ground is completely commanding the payload.
You have to break this, Changshik has to be your man. He has to have the really good dive, and the follow-up has to be good. CP steps in here first. It's going to be Hoon. Here comes the dive. Can they make it work this time? Early barrier comes down, but again, they concede the point.
It drops back down, but the payload moves up a little bit here, so they at least gain some ground. But getting it around this corner is going to be the difficult part, but getting rid of Coco is going to help open that up. As Hoon does go down, Taimu takes him out, and Changshik will fall. No tanky front line now for Meta Athena. Both supports dead, so just like that, EnVyUs, where things maybe look okay for Meta, they take hold of the reins and they take control of the payload yet again.
I mean, if they are going to use, if the reason they switched to Changshik is for this defensive setup on this map, they definitely want to have a much better attack than this. Obviously, we're still early on. They have 2.5 minutes, but they haven't accomplished much with this composition just yet. Not impressed as anyone, really, even the Meta Athena fans so far with this play. Here comes the pulse bomb.
No stick there for Saya players. Could have been such a crucial one. Effect-esque if he had landed that. Could have got a multi-kill, but in the meantime, the nano visor coming through here from Taimu. He's just going to fiercely drop down onto the low ground, but immediately regrets that one as the Transcendence is there. Now he's being hounded by the enemy. Product Field coming down to try to keep himself alive, but it's only about a matter of time. He'll get booped off, so his eyes were a bit wider there than his stomach. I don't know what the expression is.
I know what you're trying to say here.
His eyes are bigger than his stomach, his appetite, whatever.
Yeah, bit off a bit more than he could chew, some would say. But the push continues. Looks like they're going to grab this fountain cap fairly soon. Effect trying to change this, though. The immediate primal rage coming out here for Changshik.
Oh, Effect kills himself with the pulse bomb. That feels bad.
Yeah, feels bad, man, indeed. He's definitely had a few inconsistent ones this evening. The Saya player is looking for the pick. The Transcendence was used. Dragon Blade coming up right afterwards. He does secure this.
Libero trying to find the kill here. We'll get that final swipe through in on the Taimu, and just like that, with a dash onto Mickey to finish him off, will be the completion onto point A.
It was really about the high ground. Meta Athena struggled to take it for so long, and it was changed when we saw Taimu actually go onto the ground. His eyes were bigger than whatever you said, and he popped the attack visor too. And then that was where they lost control, when they lost that high ground. They held it for so long, but after that, Meta Athena had total control.
Saya player trying to sneak his way over for that pulse bomb. Won't be able to find it. The back off, the Discord orb comes through, so just keeping track of that Tracer. A massive part of EnVyUs' defense and their success. Libero going back over onto the high ground, almost helps take out Chips, but he'll get burst back up as Chungsik goes down yet again. We'll trade one on to Taimu as the fight continues. Libero dashing up here, takes out Chips, looks for Harry, and will be able to finish him off. So both supports being very easily handled by this Genji.
Yeah, this is pretty solid push coming out from Meta Athena. Saya picks up the kill onto Effect. It just feels like momentum has massively shifted here. Meta Athena getting the picks they're looking for, hurting that backline, popping onto the supports. So big ult lead right now for EnVyUs. They definitely want to use that to stop this checkpoint, or else the time bank is going to get a little bit out of control. See what's going to be first. Coco dives in, nearly has the primal rage, wants to accrue that here.
They get rid of Dust, attack visor yet again. The nano visor is out, but Libero straight into his face, cuts him down. But still, Effect coming up, comes up with that kill, takes out Hoon with that pulse bomb, follows up for Chungsik yet again.
He gets a triple there.
Taken out, yeah, and he just, Effect is just ripping his way through.
Had that unfortunate pulse bomb earlier with the recall, self-destruct, if you will, of himself, but otherwise that was a pretty solid display there, knocking Hoon out of the mech, getting the pulse bomb kill. And they hold this with very few ultimates used because Effect did so well in that last fight. So they have a lot still in their war chest here for the defense. Ultimate economy in their favor as Meta Athena actually diving deep here with Saya player to look for some respawn kills.
Effect goes down. That's going to be a nice start here, but Nuss does fall.
No one knew he was coming
through, and he's not going to go down. Forces out the Transcendence by Harry Hook to keep himself alive, and immediately drops down onto that low ground to top up the rest of the squad. Self-destruct out from Hoon, not going to find any kills, but Libero does take out Harry Hook after the Transcendence is over. So pushing back in helps take down the Genji.
So calm and collected was Taimu in that crisis scenario too, with Saya player behind him, just pops down his biotic field, waits for his teammates, calls him out, gets the heals, survives to take him out there. Saya player will actually take down Effect, however.
I mean, right now it's a really good-looking hold for EnVyUs. They got a lot of grounded Meta Athena after the initial picks came through, but this hold here in front of point B, in front of that final corner, has been looking very strong for them. It's less than a minute on the clock, 50 seconds, all that Meta Athena have. And they're still a ways away from a sound barrier from that next Dragon Blade. Libero currently at 70%.
This is the hardest place to get caught too, because you have the longest walk back here in between these points before you get that checkpoint. Libero's about to have the Dragon Blade. It could be their opportunity here. Transcendence being popped early.
Yeah, they're trying to push forward here. Effect getting chunked out a bit. Now that Discord Orb coming through onto Coco as he tries to keep himself alive. Leaps to the other side. Meanwhile, Nanovisor's out as Chungsik goes down. Taimu just firing away yet again. Defense matrix there from Hoon to try to mitigate a lot more of that damage coming down.
There, though.
He'll go down. Yeah, they find the pick in on a Saya player. Taimu finding that one. The Helix Rocket's actually not even required to come up with that. They'll just go down from these shots from the auto attacks. Payload is moving up. Chris is trying to sneak this one along.
Yeah, he's trying to.
Getting back in onto that. Mech will be booping him off the point. Libero, Dragon Blade needs to be the trump card here for their success to get this completed. It's now into overtime. Mickey just trying to push them off as best as possible. Chungsik goes down. Didn't have a primal rage to try to buy more time for themselves. Overwatch is ticking down. Dragon Blade dragged out. Chips will find the kill with the biotic grenade, and that's going to be it. 89 meters from point A is how far Meta Athena will make it. And now Envy, all they need to do is effectively go to point B, and the set is theirs. They'd be moving on to face X6.
They're so close there, they could taste it. And it was about high ground control. Chungsik, the swap from Alpha, subbing him in here. The Winston play, not as inspiring, to be honest, so far. Discord Orb usage, always picking him off early in those fights, really well done. And Taimu oftentimes was dove upon, but it was funny because you would see Taimu in these situations where he's got a Tracer on his back, a Tracer and a Winston, and he survived consistently. The crisis management was good. Mickey came over to save him. Harry had come over to save him there, Chips as well, and suddenly this dive just felt like it failed when they couldn't kill Taimu. He got back onto the high ground. It was kind of a rinse and repeat defense for EnVyUs. So let's see here. Meta Athena, at least from what they're showing so far, wants to run the Mei defense potentially here. We've seen Libero do this on Dorado before, as Taimu looks pretty happy with himself, but we were really expecting that it might be Hoon Zarya coming out, and if he doesn't pick it, it's definitely going to leave a lot of scratching heads as to why they subbed Alpha out here. It just doesn't make sense yet.
Still running the Diva, so I think that we're just going to see this. And I mean, Meta Athena right now is basically doing what we saw Envy do on Sanctum with Mickey playing the Torbjorn, except now they can't swap it. Chungsik is in. You can't put Alpha back in. You only get the one swap. So they committed to this like Mickey committed to Torbjorn, and it is not paying off.
No, definitely not. Saya player's going to play Soldier here to try to give Taimu perhaps a taste of his own medicine here from the high ground. He's going to leave them Tracerless, but they will have Libero on the Genji, so they have a different way to run the Soldier, having your backline diver be the Genji instead of the Tracer. Definitely not as mobile, doesn't have as much escapes, and Effect has been crushing Libero in terms of 1v1 when they face each other, so a little bit worried about this defensive setup here for Meta Athena.
I mean, you see Mickey and Coco immediately going up onto the high ground, just trying to spot out Meta Athena, see where they're posturing, see what the comp is going to be. So they get those call-outs immediately. And now EnVyUs starts playing up around this payload, where it's already moving because so many members are set back on top of these buildings. They can't drop to the low ground to contest, and the rest of the team gets picked off. Chungsik and Nuss both going down. And Effect just wreaking havoc, dashing his way up here to try to disrupt Saya player.
Already is so much more of a strong attack coming out from EnVyUs. It's the triple here now when you consider Hoon's knocked out of the mech, and it was a immediate dive in coming from Chungsik. He was targeted, he was discorded, he was killed. Chips turns his attention immediately to Nuss, gets that kill as well, and they are just shoving this hard. We even see the swap from Saya player as he realizes this Soldier play is not going to cut it when they don't have as much peel, when Chungsik is diving instead of protecting him defensively. Hoon's still not that experienced on the Zarya.
Effect actually surprisingly giving away his positioning. Will be dashing in, trying to find a kill in onto Chungsik, who has been proven to be the weak member. Finds out, throws out the pulse bomb, finds Chris with it. Coco goes down, but Chungsik and Hoon both going down as he gets popped out of that mech. Harry has the boop to kill him, and Taimu looking for that final shot on Libero. Won't quite find it, but Harry's there to pick up the pieces, and point A has already been achieved. 5 minutes and 5 seconds now on the clock here for EnVyUs. 89.3 meters, all that they need to win this set.
Chungsik finds himself an easy target against Taimu's DPS as well. When he dives in like that, he's got the stun, he has the Discord to help burn the tank down, so I think that's part of the problem here is we see harassment coming in from Libero, forcing Taimu back, but he gets protected. They're going to dive deep, but Taimu just retreats, gives up the point, and look at how much damage he's able to get here. Stays on the high ground, gets another headshot. Oh my god,
Wraps
Taimu!
around.
How many times this evening are we going to see this?
Deadeye comes through, finds a drop-down kill onto Hoon as he gets knocked out of the mech into the baby form. Flashbang down, looking for Libero, can't quite find that final shot, but a Harry Hook yet again is there to scoop up the Genji. The team kill completed by EnVyUs, and the payload is moving at such an accelerated rate.
You know, midair
will die, but whatever.
Midair Deadeye Taimu here, just casually. He's the only one who doesn't have an ultimate here for EnVyUs to secure this push. Hoon so close to that ultimate here. The self-destruct to buy time. He doesn't have it yet. He will likely for this final hold, but there's so much time for EnVyUs. If they can bait it out, they'll have such a massive advantage. Here we go. Taimu looking for picks here. The self-destruct comes out first actually for Mickey.
Keeps himself safe, dashes away, and Nutt's going to be the first one that goes down. Coco leaps in, finds the kill. Taimu eventually gets rid of the Genji. Effect goes down to the self-destruct by Hoon, but there's still such a man advantage here for EnVyUs. Now with that sound barrier down, just mitigating all the DPS output coming through from the side of Meta Athena. I would just get picked off as Chungsik leaps his way back in, but Saya player goes down. One of the biggest delay tactics that Meta has available for them is taken out, and now the Discord Orb here onto the Monkey as he just desperately tries to leap in. Will be saved, but it's at the cost of the Transcendence, and there's still 3 minutes 15 on the clock here for EnVyUs. So even if they don't get it on this push, it's so likely that they get it on the next one because it's only 6 meters left to go.
Miracle hold here so far for Meta Athena. Effect does pick off Chungsik on his way out. He should be there for the next fight, but that was razor thin the hold. And as you said, so many ultimates used. Transcendence baited out. The Dragon Blade for Libero, who actually really carried that fight kind of on his back here, but EnVyUs has so much time to build ultimates. They have nearly the Deadeye.
Hello, is anybody on this payload right now?
Okay, close call there.
It had a little bit of distance from the rollback, so they actually pretty much tie up where it was before that fight was lost.
Again! And this is, man, you probably just don't even want to try to pick him off at this point.
I would just leave Taimu alone if I was side player. Yet again, the flashbang comes through, the headshot registers, and the team wipe nearly completed. That should be it. Libero booped off. There it is. EnVyUs find the victory, 3-1 as they win on Dorado. They're going to be moving on to the final match of the group. As
gonna
they face
rematch.
off against X6 Gaming, like you say, the rematch.
The rematch, man. They won the first rematch here against Meta Athena. This time much cleaner than in the group stage where they needed the reverse sweep. We definitely saw flashbacks of the failed Dorado play from Meta Athena. They didn't switch it up. They didn't go Route 66, which I feel like would have been a smart choice against the lack of dive on the side of EnVyUs when they had high ground control there. And, you know, we saw a solid defense. Taimu was the hero of this series, though. The accuracy on the McCree, good positioning, always on the soldier. Mickey protecting him. You know, Mickey was several times at the beginning of the series focusing on dealing with Saya player. He was chasing the Tracer. He was being very aggressive, which is one of the weaknesses of Mickey as a D.Va player. He's very aggressive because they don't have a Genji player, so he serves as kind of a pseudo secondary dive hero that comes in with the Winston, with the Tracer when they dive onto these targets. But towards the later part of this series, they moved back. It was more protecting Taimu, which worked really well for them. And it was just Taimu carrying fights again and again and again. And you know, at the end there, when I saw a Saya player come around to Taimu, before it even happened, I know you probably felt it too, just we were waiting for that stun to come out, and then boom, the headshots. So many, even since Numba.